Hi, welcome to Soul Food Ministries and Outreach. I'm Henriette Hobson. Thank you for tuning in. And welcome to all the other ministries here: No More Jim Crow, Garden Ministry, Craft Ministry, Power Tool Ministry. Anything we are doing here is ministry, and you are welcome to be here with me. I'm glad to have you. The Lord put me on this assignment to emphasize salvation, prayer, just information, uh, bringing those that need a little bit more of an understanding about the Word and Christ and how his intentions and how he works to a degree, just a small degree, but uh, more than some know. If you don't know, then what I know, I'm on assignment to give it to you. There's a lot going on in the world. There is so much going on in the Christian world here on the earth. And that is a real big, huge concern. It is not just for Christians. This channel is for everyone, born again or not. Because the whole point that Jesus is making and bringing is he wants to bring you to him. He's wooing you to come. When he sends people like myself out that are calling you into the kingdom, sometimes the package is not always the perfect package. It just isn't. We don't always do things perfectly as people in these bodies here on the earth. We're going to make a lot of mistakes, unfortunately. We make decisions, and sometimes they're out of our own. Well, you know what? Actually, no. I go with Flip Wilson on it all. The devil made me do it. Because he is constantly throwing darts. And those darts are a lot of different things. There are ideas, suggestions, of all types to get into your psyche and start you to questioning, is that a good idea or not? Should I do that? And a lot of people don't even ask that. They just go with it because it felt like something that was really great. And that's one of the huge, most devastating, damaging, destructive mistakes that can be made. Because if we don't ask the Holy Spirit what it is that we're to be doing with whatever that information is, that idea, that woo feeling, those warm fuzzies, whatever that it brings to you, chills or goosebumps, that stuff means nothing. We cannot walk on our feelings. I tell people when I counsel them that, especially, people that are in sexual sins, sexual things that are, and this is what the Lord gave me, that a feeling is not about anything. The body is set up to respond to being touched in certain areas. Any area, you're going to feel it if your body's in any decent health. And it'll either feel good, somebody just touch you on the arm, or or touch you in any sensitive spot. You may feel good about it and you may not. A lot of the times, but you're gonna feel something. The whole thing is. Now it depends on who's touching you and whether you connect with that person or not. If it feels good to you, in a lot of cases, but whether you even know the person or not, that there are parts of our body that is set up to feel a good sensation regardless of how it's touched. You can take a feather and touch it. You can, whatever it is going to have some type of sensation. There are nerves and, signals that are going out and responding and all of this. And so don't people are basing who they are and what they are based on, oh, I felt this feeling when I saw this person's butt, or, you know, whatever. Okay, I don't want to start naming body parts. I don't mean anything. When, because you triggered off just generally, and the rest of your body responds. It doesn't mean that you like that, or that's something for you, or that that's your, I was gonna say so, well, it all kind of blends in together, but because I wanted to say how we're, as a people, are teaching, letting children be taught wrong about love and what love is. This world has it set up the way Satan has set up everything, and I mean, he's worked hard at misrepresenting everything that God intended. And he wants you to think that just because you have a particular feeling or thought about someone or something, it, connect, just receive it and connect it to you as a thing. Kids, hormones, as they're growing up and all of this, they're being taught to self-satisfy and all kinds of crazy stuff before they can even figure out if they like popsicles or or fudge sickles. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a chance, because they're bombarded with so much misinformation, developing habits before they, the innocence is taken away, and it's the saddest thing ever. It's so many things that's got in my head. I saw on Instagram, and it was the sweetest of all. I don't know whose it was that put it out there. I would have to go back and look it up. But they were on a subway, and I don't know where they were, or what subway. I think it might have been a New York subway, maybe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And there was a mom and her daughter sitting on the subway, wherever they were going. Looked like a Hispanic family. And then, not that matters, but it just to be accurate and give you the picture of, try to visualize it, whatever. But on comes this gentleman on the subway, and he is dressed in all this white. This cool dress. He's dressed real nice. It's what do they call it? Oh, I don't even know what to call it. Kind of an urban casual dressy. It was a blend. It was cool. He looked really good. And casual enough, but it was you could tell it was fine quality. And it was different shades of white and cream that he had on pants, shoes, even with white. If I can remember correctly, he had a jacket on, and then he had a shirt up under it. But he looked albino. I don't know if he was or not, but he looked. He was just that, I don't know how to put. I don't want to put it the wrong way and make it sound wrong. He had that particular hue of pinkness, or lack of melon, but smooth. He was handsome. He really looked good. And not that it, just be, that's the reason why I don't even want to start describing like that, because it makes people take stuff and just go off with it. Nothing negative at all about anyone that is albino. Please don't even. It's not nowhere in my head. But I'm just trying to describe this gentleman, and he had even white eyelashes. His eyelashes were white, and they were long, beautiful long white eyelashes. His hair was white. He wasn't an older man that I could see to have white hair, but his hair maybe I think was naturally white, or he either enhanced it and made it real white. But it was a this cool hip cut, and uh, he came and he sat. I know it's taking a long time with it, but he came and he sat down next to this little girl, and she wasn't paying any attention to him when he came and sat down. But when she turned around, I guess, and felt his presence next to her, she turned around and looked at him, and immediately she went, that was her response. These big, beautiful eyes. Just to the innocence. She was probably about 10, maybe 8, maybe between 8 and 10. And the cutest little face. And she was, just and she just kept looking at it. And then she turned around to her mother and she patted her mother on the arm like, Mom, look, and so she thought he was an angel. It was so cute and so sweet. And she reached over and grabbed his. She was trying to get his hand, and she grabbed his because he had his hands like folded in front of him, in front of his like his thighs, but just a little bit above his knees. And she reached over and put her hand in his hand. It was just so cute, and she was just looking at him with these eyes of, oh my God, I see God, I see an angel, I see heaven, And her mom was like, reached over and got her hand, and she said, I'm sorry, to the man, I'm sorry. He put his hand up, and that's okay. He's kind of a little smile. And so the mom reached in her purse and gave her a lollipop. I don't know if it was to shut her up, sit her still, or for her to give to him, whatever. But she immediately presented this gift to this angel, she thought. She gave him the lollipop, and it was just so, it was so sweet and precious and innocent and pure. You just melted, And then he put it in his pocket and said, thank you, put it in his pocket, and he was just still calm, but pleasant. And then she grabbed his hand again, she could not get over him. She touched, she rubbed his top of his hair. And he just sat there and let her do it. And then on the way out, when it was time, I guess the mom was like, oh God, please let her stop, hurry up. Because she didn't know what to do. She couldn't stop her because she was just in awe of this man. Angel to her. And when her mom got her by the hand and they were getting ready to walk off the tram, the subway, she pulled her hand back, stepped back a couple steps to this man and grabbed him with the biggest hug and laid her head up on his chest and just hugged him, and he hugged her back. It was just the most pure love. It was, it makes me want to cry just talking about it because it was so beautiful. So beautiful. And you know what? If we would just love people like that, just love them. And stop this fighting and hating. That little girl, I pray goes viral. And because it was priceless. It was priceless. We need to teach our children. Don't stop with these. You grown. I'm just using the way I speak, but of course you do what you want to do. You answer to God, not for you, not me. I'm just trying to help you along the way so you to when you get to that end point to have to answer them, you get the right one. But these kids telling these kids, you got a boyfriend at school and all of that stuff in the kindergarten, first grade. Leave these kids alone. I mean, you have natural chemistry to like a person, even when you're small like that. The chemistry is just there. But this encouragement and this impurity that comes from grown-ups pushing and, peddling this fake love is dangerous. And kids don't get a chance to just be pure kids. They're going to naturally find someone that they draw to just for a friend, just somebody that seems to just chemically bond with them. Or, I remember in kindergarten liking this little boy, and he was the cutest little boy. I am telling you, he was a little chocolate, beautiful, beautiful. And deep, dark. I can remember him today because he was maybe he was the first boy that I, ever really felt that way about. Because this was like kindergarten, And he had these deep, dark eyes and these long, beautiful eyelashes. I mean, he was gorgeous. Gorgeous little kid. Flawless skin. Mom dressed him, beautifully. He was greased up, shined up. She took good care of him, dressed him well. Maybe that's what drew me to him. I don't know. And he had this head full of just black, coal black curly hair. And I can remember, that little boy, that was my first drawing to someone, the opposite sex like that, and so it just comes natural. We're in kindergarten, for goodness sake. Nobody's mentioned any mess like that at all. No stuff like that. So, stop pushing kids. Explain what love is or what it isn't. If you don't really know what it is. For one thing, it's more action than it is feeling. It's more dedication than it is feeling. Now, the chemistry, yeah, it's a wonderful thing to have, especially if you got to be intimate with somebody, but, what it isn't, is sex. It isn't. There are different types of love, and kids need to be full understanding on that. And it's not just a one thing you tell them. It's a continual, they're giving kids little puppies or kids being born into families with these big old huge dogs with, sex organs hanging all out, and they're all in the kids. It's just some unnatural stuff going on that ain't right. It ain't right. It's bad grammar, but it's right. It's just not right. And so they lose in touch with the value of animal versus human. Yes, there are animals that they have sometimes better personalities than some people, and they have saved many lives over time. Being loyal, stepping out and taking care of you, but that is a different kind of affection. Don't twist intimate love, sexual love, with admiration and gratitude and warm feeling about someone or something, like an animal particularly, that is by your side all the time. That's your friend, that's your buddy, Y'all go fishing together and blah blah blah. I've seen just being in parking lots, and it's some things out here, sick, freak, unnatural affection things, and we got to teach our children the difference. No, sisters and brothers and mothers and children and cousins even, back off. You don't have to have your cousin. She may be or he may be the finest thing on the planet, but that's off limits. And we've got to teach them restraint and reprogramming their mind to, well, she's beautiful or he's handsome or whatever, but that's my cousin, but I'm proud of them, that they're that good looking. But not that getting that twisted with all the organs and stuff, Jesus, why does anybody even have to say something like this? But it's so real and happening today in such a horrible, freakish way, an unnatural affection that God put it in the Bible before I was even born. It was in the Bible thousands of years ago because people were, since Adam fell and Satan had his evil toes and things, he twisted the minds of a lot. And then you add beer, not just beer, but alcoholic beverages, anything, drugs, anything that alter your personality and put you in a state of kind of, not in control completely. It can really go bad. I've heard people say, I did stuff I would never have done if I had not been on drugs or been intoxicated or whatever. So teach your children. Tell them, about, just because, and I know going to any school, public or private, it doesn't matter. It's the thing about all these different, these kids know more about intimacy than grown-ups. It is horribly unreal. And this is what all they think about. It's addictive. They're addicted to pornography just as much as any grown-ups. But they have no filter, so they'll experiment with anything. I don't know if I should tell this story. It's something I saw on television, and it was like, whoa. It was a young lady. She fell sick, and nobody knew what was wrong with her. Doctors could not figure out what was wrong with her. I don't think they ever did. They just kept treating everything that they could until they finally got some kind of. I think someone prayed for her or something, and she finally. But she was dying. They could not figure out what was wrong with her. Some unknown disease that they could not figure out. Well, finally, she comes home from the hospital, and her dog comes to meet her. And this dog, when he comes to meet her, the first thing he heads for is her personal area. Trying to, I don't even want to say it because I don't want to get it to be taken down or anything. But you get the point. And he would not just, lick her in the face or anything. He was, just adamant about it. And she was trying to, keep him away back, but that's what he was going for. And it was very obvious. Whoa. Could this be why this situation came about? I can't get into, a lot of detail about it, but it was in my spirit, it was pretty clear. This is what had been going on. It was clear. All you got to do is just be looking at the program. And we gotta do something about this. This is horrible. Leaving kids alone in their rooms by themselves for endless hours instead of spending time with them, keeping them out in the open so they can, you know, the devil will take an idle mind and will run away with it. I don't even know if I'm gonna put this on here because I didn't intend to go there. But I mean, this is serious, and we must do something about it. Our kids are in danger of not understanding what real love is, and they're allowing their boyfriends to beat them up. They are and put them on the street, selling them, peddling drugs for them. There are more women in prison for doing craziness that their boyfriends and husbands or whatever had them doing. Um, Same thing, even if the young lady is the aggressive one that is causing them. Mm-mm. Their lives are supposed to be, you know, fun, fulfilling, pleasant, smooth. As smooth as far as your mind. Live in a fantasy world, little fairy world as long as you can, with reality as well. But I mean, have an opportunity to think that, it's wonderful to run through a field of flowers. That's what I mean. Not this Disney demonic mess that's got y'all twisted too. Anyway, just that was part of what I wanted to talk about uh, when I came on here. I'm a little draggy because I didn't sleep quite as well, and it is really hot out there today. But I am strong as Samson. Okay, I am not taking all this dragging and feeling drained. I took my electrolyte powder and all that to kind of boost me up before I came on here, but because I went outside and tried to water some of my flowers and things. Let me tell you, you need to get enough sleep, especially if you have just issues with that. And if you're out in this heat or having to deal with it, it is going to be really hard on you if you don't get sleep because your body needs it. You need to rest it well, you know. So anyway, we have got to define love as God defines it. He gave his life for us. He was kind to us. He shared eternal life with us. He didn't just talk. It was actions. He made sure we were well and provided for. And what can I do to help? What else? He's still interceding for us. It's powerful. Love is not connecting intimately with someone like that. So anyway, I'll be back to talk about the other part of what I wanted to speak to. See you next time.